This is Gary the Numbers Guy, and this will be the GG33 video for the dragon people born in dragon years. Let's get started. People who were born in dragon years are the most honorable sign. If they say they're going to do something, they mean it. This is in 95% of cases I've seen in dragons. If you don't know too much about a person, and the only thing you know that they're a dragon, at least you got that going for you. Again, dragon by far the most honorable sign. When it comes down to it, dragons ooze leadership and authority. For instance, most people will not follow other people, but they will follow dragons, obviously unless they're dogs. But when it comes down to it, the dragon has an aura of authority. People will always follow a dragon, where in most cases they would never follow anyone else. Dragon is the most powerful sign. Example, Vladimir Putin, born in 1952, the dragon year, becomes president of Russia in 2000, a dragon year. Was reelected in 2012, a dragon year. See, they're doing things right over there. Except they did one big mistake. Mr. Putin will be running for re-election not every 4 years now, but every 6. And next election is 2018, the year of the dog. Someone set Mr. Putin up for failure, and you will see the effects of this in 2 years. Another thing about dragons is they get along best with monkeys and rats, but when it comes down to it, they get along a lot better with the monkey than they would a rat. The rat is somewhat manipulative. Once the dragon realizes that, going to be issues. The best way to deal with the dragon is to put an idea in its head and make them think they thought of it. And this is why a guy like Vladimir Putin's so dangerous. Because not only is Putin a dragon, he's also a 7. 7 is the smartest sign. Now, when it comes to 7 is the smartest number. Now, when it comes to the smartest signs, you're talking about snakes, you're talking about monkeys, rats, cats, they're all in the mix. Dragon is not the smartest sign. And honestly, if you believe in God, thank God the dragon is not the smartest sign, because they got so much stuff going for them. Whew, we'd have issues on this planet. And that's why a guy, again, like Putin is so dangerous. He's a dragon and a 7. But back to the original point. If you're going to deal with the dragon, the best way to deal with them is to put an idea in their head and make them think that they thought of it. Instead of saying, hey, let's go to the beach, be like, oh, wow, I heard the water's really warm on the news today. Idea in their head, let's go to the beach. That is the best way to deal with dragons. Put an idea in their head and make them think they thought of it. I'm not calling them stupid. They're not tigers, okay? But they're definitely not in the upper echelon when it comes to the thinking signs. Again, the monkey and the snake and so on. When it comes down to dragons, they are physically very, very strong, even the women. Before I get on the women, let me talk about Tim Duncan for a second. Tim Duncan was born in 1976, year of the dragon. He was still playing at a great level in the NBA in 2016. We're talking about a guy 40 freaking years old, and he's still playing it at maybe not an all-star level, but he's still contributing. Only a dragon, maybe a tiger can do that. Flat out. That's how they are. Dragons' bodies don't break down. Only sign that has it better is a tiger. But the difference between a dragon and tiger physically is a dragon might not be as muscular as a tiger, but they're just as strong. I mean, the tigers look like an athlete. The dragon might not necessarily look like an athlete. But again, they're extremely strong. In a lot of cases, they look it too. But I just want to make that distinction between the dragon and the tiger. Let's talk about dragon women, because these women are a little bit different than others. Dragon women think like men. And when I say this, is they want to be the head of the household. They want to wear the pants in the relationship. And in most cases, a lot of guys can't deal with that. A monkey guy can, but in most cases, guys cannot deal with a dragon woman telling them what to do. Case in point, Roseanne Barr. Roseanne was born in the dragon year. Coincidentally enough, her show Roseanne, which was a major hit in the 80s, started in 1988, the year of the dragon. Her co-star, John Goodman, was the dragon. The guy who produced the show was a dragon, starring a dragon year. It was a hit. Blah, blah, blah. But the fact when it comes to Roseanne was she had 4 husbands. It failed because none of the guys could deal with her. Now, afterwards, she found a woman. This is very important because a lot of times dragon women cannot find guys who can deal with them. So sometimes they go down that route. Are they gay and LGBT? Of course not. Because that same woman, Roseanne, who had 4 husbands, or was it 3, and moved on to a woman, well, she dumped a woman, now she's back with a man. So whenever you see a dragon woman who's LGBT, know it's because of the extreme amount of male energy in them, not necessarily any political nonsense you hear. But again, dragon women who are gay, this is not out of the ordinary. When it comes down to dragons as a whole, you always have to understand that they need to stay the hell away from dogs. I'm not just talking about people who are born in dog years. I'm talking about the damn animal in themselves. If you are around a dog and you are a dragon, 3 things will happen to you. Number 1, a lot of things that you would consider bad luck. Number 2, health problems. Oh, you best believe that. I've done many of readings with many of people who were dragons and all of a sudden they got a dog and they got sick. You think a doctor's going to explain this one? Nah. Very important. Stay the hell away. And the third one, I've talked to people who were dragons. They had dogs, no health issues, no problems, but they start losing a lot of money. Those 3 things will always happen. It might not happen right away. I've had people tell me, hey, Gary, I've had a dog for 6, 7 years. I haven't had any issues. I'm going to just give you an example. And this is a little bit off subject, but it brings back and reinforces the point. Jerry Sandusky was a monkey, and he was an assistant coach for Joe Paterno, who was a tiger at Penn State University. Lasted 30 years. No problem. Then it came out that Jerry Sandusky was a pedophile. And because of that, his head coach, Joe Paterno, suffered. I honestly believe he died because of that. So what we have, 30 years down the line, a monkey is destroying the life of a tiger. So I'm telling the same thing to dragons. If you have a dog around you, you're gonna get hit at some point. Take my word for it. I've talked to many of people who are mailmen who've been bit by dogs. I've been talked to many of students who were born in dragon years or dragon months who've been harassed by dogs, or they're scared of dogs. Not scared of anything, just scared of dogs. Again, stay away from dogs if you're a dragon. This is no, joke. Watch your ass. Lastly, when it comes down to people who are born in dragon years, I want people to understand that they are the 5th sign. When it comes down to it, they can be very sexual. And that's my point about that. So again, this was the GG33 video on the dragon.